So thank you once again for joining us today. My name is Sin Man and I'm from the Smart Nation and Digital Government Office. So hashtag Smart Nation Together is an online platform that's developed to introduce to you to everything tech, and most importantly, to introduce digital upskilling opportunities for the community. So today we'll be touching on the OneService chatbot and mobile app. So like for instance, what can we do when we see something in our neighborhood that needs to be addressed? Like who do we go to when we see issues like a fallen tree or cracked footpaths? So in this session, we'll learn about the OneService mobile application and the chatbot, where we also will learn how to give feedback on issues in our neighborhood and hopefully have them get sorted out soonest. So we are glad to have with us today the team from the Municipal Services Office and Taufik to share more with us. So Taufik, over to you, please.
Thank you, Sinman. Good afternoon, everybody. Before we actually begin, maybe I'll just introduce myself and the team who's here. I'm Taufik, I'm from the Municipal Services Office, and I'm part of the engagement and outreach team. And within the engagement and outreach team, we have my colleagues here also, Alison and Yanlin. We can see on the screen that they're waving at you as well. So without further ado, I'm just going to get started. If you've not done so, I think if you can see from the screen, you can actually download the OneService app and try to have a play around with it. Although I will be guiding you guys on how you can actually submit the feedback and find out more on what other information that you guys can access from the OneService app as well. Okay. Okay. Maybe is there a oh, maybe can I just get a sensing, right? If you can just put it in the chat function. How many of you have heard of the OneService app? I mean, if you've heard about the OneService app, then maybe you can just indicate yes, or maybe raise up your hand. I think somebody has raised up their hand, right? Oh, okay, good. 4, 5. Increase to 5, please. 5, 5. No, 5. Yes. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, great. Great that some of you guys have heard of the OneService app. We hope that a lot more would actually, make use of it, because actually it is a good app for you guys to, give your feedback and let us know if there are any issues in your neighborhood or your residential area as well. Okay, so I just want to share a bit on the Municipal Services Office. Essentially, we started in 2014, and I think if you've read on the news, it all stemmed from the fishball stick issue, famously, right? Back then, and because of certain municipal issue, which is in this case a fishball stick, where there's not any specific agency who were able to handle or manage the issue back then. I think the government decided that there should be an agency, which is the Municipal Services Office, who'll be able to come in and coordinate and help the various other agencies. As we know, Singapore has a lot of different agencies to solve certain issues, particularly municipal issues in Singapore. And, for example, as you may know, like HDB may handle certain things related to residential issues and LTA may focus on the roads. So what MSO does is we try to come in and sort of become a broker and help all the different agencies right here, whether it's the town councils or the other government agencies, to determine how we can solve certain municipal issues that needs to be solved, particularly the complex ones. To be honest, what you submit your feedback on the municipal on the OneService app is essentially those are the easier ones, meaning there's a clear-cut sort of agency that's supposed to take charge. But there are certain complex issues that are still ongoing that we will still come in and coordinate and help amongst the different agencies to solve it. And what are municipal services? Essentially, when it comes to infrastructural issues or greenery maintenance, cleanliness, animal management or pest control, and upgrading of certain facilities in Singapore, whether it's roads or pavements, it will fall under municipal issues. And I think what's most pressing for Singaporeans is the immediate residential areas that you're looking at, right? Because we are staying in that area. So there is a tendency where people tend to provide their feedback And as you can sort of notice, I wouldn't use the word complain too much. It's more of the word feedback. Provide a feedback on certain issues that are troubling them. In this case, for example, there's the issue of pigeons, and usually arising from pigeon feeding, where we will, get the agency involved to resolve it if possible. All right, so the OneService app, I'm just gonna run through a bit on the background and the basics of it. And if you have any questions, please do feel free to ping inside the question and answer function. And I'll try to slow down if need be. If you think I'm going too fast, do let me know. If you think I'm going too slow, also please do let me know so that I can move on a bit faster. All right. Um, and what we have about the OneService app, it's just a convenient way of people to provide their feedback on municipal issues. Later on, I'm going to be sharing a bit more. And right now, I think we will get to it to download the OneService app. And all right, so if you're on your Apple phones or if you're on your Android phones, what you can do is you can go onto the App Store or the Google Play Store. In this case, you can just search for the term or the keyword OneService, and you should see this octagon looking logo, and you are able to just try to download it. It's free, obviously. And once you are able to do so, you can just give me a feedback on the chat group and say okay or something like that, and then I'll be able to move on. Okay, I'll just give you maybe 1 minute to download it if you have not done so. I presume there for the people who have raised up their hands, you have done so previously. Okay. Again, please feel free to put your questions inside the Q&A chat, and we will try to address it as much as we can. Okay, just maybe 1 minute or so. If you have any questions, please do fill up your just indicate it inside the app, inside the chat function as well. All right, I presume everyone would have downloaded the app right now already. If you have, and then I'm just gonna go through it using my mobile phone. So I'm gonna be screen sharing my mobile phone now and show you how you can access it. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing the screen for now, and I'm gonna share my mobile phone screen. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now. Okay, so initially, if for those of you who have not downloaded the app, what you can do is go to the App Store. In this case, I'm just showing you my App Store. And what you can do is you search OneService. And you should be able to see it on screen. And you should be able to appear. Because I've downloaded it before, which is why it's indicated here as open. But if not, it will be there for you to download in this case, okay? Okay, so let's say you've already downloaded the app, right? So I'm just going to open it now. What you will see immediately on the screen is the requirement for you to log in using your SingPass app. And because OneService is part of the government app, I think we try to link it as much as possible with our SingPass account. So there's no way of you logging in using any other means. Previously, you could, for those of you who are familiar, previously you could, log in using Facebook or your Google. But right now you can only use it, log in using the SingPass app. So simply what you can do is you can just tap on the QR code, SingPass QR code here, just tap on the screen once. It will direct you to your SingPass app to log in, right? So right now, because they're prompting me to log in into my OneService app, I'm just gonna click login at the bottom right-hand corner here, login. And of course, I need to go and show my, key in my, and I've logged in. And now it's faster for me because I've managed to log in before. So, they've already had my data inside the OneService app. All right. So just by looking at the screen, I think I just want to run through a bit on what's happening here. Okay, it looks a bit busy. But don't be afraid. Okay, I'm just gonna run through one by one. Essentially, this is the main screen. Every single time when you log in into the OneService app, you will be placed here. Okay, at the top area, if you can see the Sembawang, the Sembawang, because obviously I'm situated in Woodlands area under the Sembawang Town Council. And they've pinned me my location according to where I am now. And the reason why they're doing so is because they try what we are trying to do as the OneService app is we are trying to geotag it to what is situated in this area. So for example, you can see if I just what I did was I hit the top bar here. When you see the different green buttons, right? So I just press that. So what you can see here is in Sembawang area, according to the weather forecast, it's going to be cloudy, which it is. And right now because I'm working from home, right, and I'm sharing this with you guys, and the PSI is quite good, and the different readings when it comes to the dengue alerts and all that. They also have an indication on the different libraries as well. So let's say I decide to go to the library and I want to determine whether the library nearby me is crowded or not. They will be able to indicate here. I just want to point out here, actually, the nearest library for me is at Woodlands, which is at Causeway Point. I think there's a bit of an issue here, which of course I will get back to with the technical team on this. Okay. All right, so what we have here, right? If you can see the toolbar, at the top here, which is moving, all the different buttons that are available for you to choose from if you want to do certain things. Okay, so you got the submit case feature, which I'm going to go through it with you later on. There's a help neighbor feature. Again, I'm going to go through it with you. Book facilities, the what say you, which is a survey, and if you're familiar with the Parking SG app, we have also sort of worked with the Parking SG app to, do the parking for through the OneService app as well. And there's also the find parking option ability over here in the OneService app. Okay, so I'm just gonna go down a bit to under the report. If you have reported or submitted or any amount of cases, it will appear under this report function. So previously, as you can see, I made a report on a car park maintenance in Compassvale. So far, I've only made one, right? And what it put here is closed. And I'm just going to open how it would look like. And yeah, later on, I'm going to show with you how you can submit a case. But at the tail end of for when a case has been submitted, you will be receiving an update from the agency that's supposed to be assisting you for that case. So again, as I mentioned, because municipal cases, it may be varied, okay? It may not be just town council. When it comes to a specific thing related to a HDB void deck, for example, it can be town council, it can be HDB. In the corridor, it can be HDB. When it comes to roads, and if, for example, major or main roads will be under LTA. So in this case, because the case was at a service road within a HDB area, it was a Pasir Ris Punggol Town Councils that managed to handle it. Yeah, so my feedback back then was that I indicated that the drainage cover was spoiled, and I didn't want to damage my vehicle, and I didn't want to, get people who are riding their motorbikes when they go and bump against the drainage hole and then they will fall. I suggested to the town council, or rather I made a feedback to say that you guys should fix this in case anybody who riding or driving at night gets into an accident. So this was done in 2020 before COVID, and they managed to resolve it over a few days actually. Yeah. And later on, I'm going to show you the geotagging function as well, because over here you can see that there's a map specific to it. And back then when I took the picture, as you can see, it's quite an innocuous sort of location. It can be anywhere. So what I did was I pinned the location to the nearest block, which is at block 274A. And then I indicated there that there's that drainage cover in front of the 274A near the the rubbish chute area, and this is where they're supposed to do it. I also want to point out that there's a please rate our service here, which I've not rated anything yet. And if you're not really very happy about the case being resolved, for example, the drainage cover was not resolved properly, you can always rate the service accordingly, whether it's 1 star or 2 star. In this case, because this was a long time ago, I decided not to rate it. Okay. So beyond that, so I've closed the report portion, right? Under happenings app, under the happenings portion, these are all the different announcements that we have. Okay. So if there are certain things that we want you to know, for example, OneService, you can also submit the feedback on Live SG app as well. We have to make it easier for everybody in Singapore to access and submit the feedback. You can always find out here. And then there's the Singapore Friendly Neighborhood Award. You know, if you want to nominate your own neighborhood, please feel free to do so. And the pick locker and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna go through immediately. The most important thing, right, which is the submit case. Because as you can see from what I've done here, when I submitted a case on the drainage cover, there are certain cases where obviously if you see it, right, and it's like an emergency, obviously you should just call the emergency services, whether it's the Singapore Police Force or the Civil Defense Force, right? If there's a fire, obviously don't use the app, take picture and say, hey, I'm submitting case because I think this thing is on fire, you know? No, okay, just immediately call 995 or call 999 if there's an emergency issues, right? But for certain cases where there can be a bit of waiting, if you see that like the dustbin in the void deck area, right, near the lift lobby, is still full despite many days of having a lot of rubbish inside and nothing is being done to it. This is where you can actually submit the case. And the reason why you should use the app, or later on I'm going to share with you the WhatsApp, right? Is because whatever is being sent through the app, it will be sent immediately to the different agencies based on where you're staying. So when it comes to cleanliness issues, especially at the void deck, obviously it belongs to it's a town council issue. What will happen is the request for the feedback will be sent to the town council, which is relevant to the area where you're staying in. And the town council will be immediately sending their staff or the cleaners to clean up the area if need be. Okay, so I'm just going to share with you, if you do want to submit a case in a situation, in an example where I've mentioned, there's a dustbin that has not been cleared for days, what you can do is click on the submit case button here, right? And you have a lot of different categories that you can choose from. Okay, I'm not going to go through all. The popular ones are indicated at the start, obviously here, right? Illegal parking and then facilities, road and footpaths and all that. I just also want to mention that smoking enforcement, feedback is also something new here that we've introduced, I think, a couple of weeks back, right? When it comes to drains and sewers, drinking water, construction sites, and so on and so forth. Abandoned trolleys is also indicated here, which you can indicate and provide your feedback. Okay. So in the example that I've given, cleanliness, right, is an issue. You've seen the dustbin unclean, not being cleared for so long, right? So what you can do is click on the cleanliness, and then you can indicate, because the example that I mentioned earlier was overflowing litter bin, right? And it's not being cleaned. I'm just going to click overflowing litter bin. Yeah. So these are all the different things that will come out once you click that. Again, it's a step-by-step process. I hope you don't feel intimidated by this, because if you scroll up again, what you can see is cleanliness and overflowing litter bin, right? And obviously, if possible, we want you to provide the photo. And in this case, you can add a photo, maximum of 3 photos if you want. So I'm just going to click open. Okay, the access to my camera is denied for now. I wanted to give the access later on. But in this case, let me just give an example of a photo that I want to put. Hopefully, I have some pictures here. Next. Yeah, okay. So let's say I'm just giving this example of things that hasn't been cleaned. What I wanted to share here is you've taken a photo and you want to share that there's certain things in the photo that you want to indicate. So there are certain things in the photo that you want to indicate. Like for example, the dustbin is too which part of the dustbin is too overflowing. What you can do is the top right hand corner over here, the top right hand corner, there's a pencil looking button. You can click on that and you can go and circle the part of the bin where there's a lot of rubbish, for example, right? And then you can hit done. So whatever you've sort of drawn on the picture is really been recorded here. And what you can do is you need to click on the word finish at the bottom right hand corner. Obviously, if you have more pictures, you can add more because if you can see here, there's that button for you to add more pictures. If not, I'm just gonna click on finish. So there's only a maximum of 3 photos that you can put. I suggest that you take 3 very clear photos of the thing that you want to provide the feedback on. And then after that, you pick and choose the photo that you want to indicate, right? So in this case, you may want to provide the details of the issue. So in this case, for example, I'm just going to indicate that, the dustbin is uncleared near the lift lobby of block, I don't know, 678 at Woodlands, for example, because I'm staying in Woodlands, right? Woodlands Street 32, for example, right? And beyond whatever things that you can indicate inside here in the text function, you can also pin your location in it, right? And what you can do is select this and you can press this button here, this thing that looks like a crosshair right at the bottom right hand corner. It will point you to where you are situated now. Obviously now, because I'm at home, they're gonna ping me straight to where I'm located, and I'm just gonna say that, oh, actually I found the dustbin over here at block 67 something right just now. So I'm just gonna confirm location. So here it is. Yeah. And then you can also indicate where you found it. There are certain helping words here that has been suggested for you. You can click on void deck as well, for example, right? Yeah. And when did you see it? You can indicate the date. This can be adjusted as well. For example, you saw it yesterday on the 22nd at 9:04 a.m. Done. Then it will be indicated here. And then you can click on submit case. In this case, I'm not going to submit case because it's a sample kind of submit case that I wanted to show you. So yeah, I just wanted to just go through with you how you can go through it. We've tried to make the steps on how you can submit case easy. Obviously, if you have no photos to indicate, you don't have to include it. Although we would certainly suggest that you take 1 photo close up and 1 at a further distance. And there are certain portion which is necessary for you to indicate the details, where you will need to talk about the details of the issue and then the location where you can submit the case.
I see a question from Janice actually in the Q&A chat.
Yeah.
She's asking, how do we know the case that we submitted has been attended or has been solved?
Okay. That's a very good question, Janice. Okay, I'm not gonna send. Okay, I'm very tempted to send, right? But I shouldn't, because then my colleagues at the back end, we have to, manage this case, and then I have to tell them, hey, this is actually a sample case that I'm sending out, because I'm using the real OneService app. So Janice, I just want to share with you, because I submitted this case in 2020, there are 3 different notifications that will be sent to you. Once that you have been sent, right, everything here will be gray. Okay, and then certain things will be lighted up according to when the agency is looking into it. So for example, if you've sent it they won't acknowledge it so fast. Maybe a few hours later, you will see that and receive the notification that it has been acknowledged. Means whichever agency which is looking into it, like for example, the town council, has seen your feedback. Okay. And then once they are seen the feedback and then they are trying to determine or considering the resources that needs to be sent out, for example, and then they will indicate there as working on it. So you should typically, depending on the feedback that you've given, I would recommend that you give our different agencies a few days to look into it. For example, like when it comes to road issues, which is infrastructural, where you really need to do a lot of changes to the roads, obviously you need a bit more time. I think we can expect a few days. Cleanliness issues, for example, when it comes to like the dustbin issue I've shared, I think that one you can expect it to be completed within a day immediately. I think based on some compliments that we received from town councils or agencies or feedback from people who were very pleased with what the agencies have done, I think they were very surprised that sometimes within a matter of hours the feedback has been addressed. So it's really dependent on the availability of resources, I would say, and when and how much and how difficult the case is to be looked into. To be honest, the case that I'm showing you here, the drainage cover, it took them a couple of days. And to me, it's fine. But what they did to resolve the issue immediately was they placed cones around the drainage cover, which I thought was a good thing that they did. Because my concern for this issue was safety, right? They managed to address my concern by putting cones, and then they fixed the drainage cover a few days later, which to me, okay, that's very acceptable because I think the people are working hard, right? The cleaners are working hard, the construction, the people handling the construction are working hard as well. Okay. Good question, Janice. Thank you for the question. Any other questions from the rest? Please feel free to put it inside the Q&A function as well. Great. Okay, let's see. Okay, for the submit case issue, I just want to point out one thing, and I think a lot of people need to be aware of it. When it comes to illegal parking case, right? Okay, so in the case where you see this car has been parking under your void deck at the service road, okay, for hours, right? Every day, every night, every time you see the car there, okay, very irresponsible. Okay, you're very civic minded. You want to go and tell the enforcement folks about it, right? So what you can do is you can report illegal parking. But I just want to indicate here that for illegal parking, it's unlike the other cases that I shared with you just now on cleanliness. For example, it's at the HDB car park, okay, downstairs near my house, right? And the car park is downstairs. I'm just gonna choose some random car park. Okay, and the nearest block, okay, 691, I'm just gonna put here. Okay, the thing about illegal parking category, okay, is that you can only take photo, okay? It must be taken within 15 minutes of spotting the issue. The reason why we are putting this limitation is because when somebody provides an illegal parking feedback, we are really immediately sending this to the enforcement agency. Means the enforcement agency is really going to send their parking warden to go down and try to catch the vehicle in the act of illegally parking. Okay, on occasions, based on our experience, we realized that the car has moved off. So there's nothing else you can do. But just want to assure you guys, if you guys are reporting illegal parking, obviously, if a lot of people have been reporting illegal parking incidences in that area, that will be a hotspot area. There will be more incidences of traffic warden going down to go and catch people who are illegally parked. Okay, so we also get the data of people, of the number of feedback, the frequency of feedback, and how many times people tend to provide the feedback or complain about illegally parked cars, and then the enforcement agencies will of course send the right resources to go down and handle it. Okay, so I just want to make that assurance. But we have this limitation here, unlike the other categories, because we want to make sure that when the resources is being sent down, is the most updated photo. So if you try to see, there's no option for you to choose or take the photo from your photo album. You will need to take a photo using the camera. In this case, I have disabled the camera, and so you can't see anything moving here. Okay. Okay. Any questions for now? All right. Quiet means good. Quiet means you guys are following. Okay. Siu Man Ing, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself. I can try and address it as much as I can. Okay. All right. So the submit case function is the most important thing that you will possibly need to look at. And I would say if you go into the Live SG portion, it will be almost the same. Maybe I just show you a bit Live SG, right? I hope I'm logged in. And then you can log in. Okay. So you can see the Live SG thing. If you want to report a neighborhood issue, again, it doesn't look like the button on the OneService app. You can make the report here. And then you can get started. And the layout is actually almost the same. You can describe the issue immediately. We are making it simple for people to provide the feedback, or you can select the category. Okay. So I just want to let you know that the layout is a bit different, but it's almost the same method of sharing the feedback. All right. Okay. So I'm reaching almost the tail end of my presentation. I just want to share with you some other useful functionalities of the app. There is the help neighbor function, as I mentioned earlier. If you think that there are certain vulnerable people who may need assistance, you'll be able to submit the referral or the feedback to the voluntary welfare organization, right? Obviously, when it comes to help neighbor, I think where possible, you should try to get to know the situation first before you anyhow just go and take a picture and try to refer the person to a VWO. Okay, there's also the option for you to call the ComCare hotline, which are the social services office on the ground, which is near to the place where you're staying, to give the feedback to them on this as well. Chances are, if you are seeing the people in the streets, it's already a known case to them. So at least they will know how to react, and they will know that, oh, this person is here. Okay. Other than the help neighbor, I think you can also book your facilities here. So in this case, you can select the purpose for the barbecue pit. If you want to book the void deck, community services, or hobby or interest group, you can do so. I'm not going to go in depth into it. You can try to play around if you have some time into it. And it's based on the location where you're at. Again, it's pinned towards where I'm staying. What say you is the survey. And if you have any inputs, if you want to give your feedback on how you feel about certain things, you can always join the survey here. You can click on it and you can join the survey. In this case, the survey is on the services at community club and community centers. Occasionally, we will also ask for your inputs on surveys on municipal issues, so that we know, based on where you're staying, how satisfied you are with the municipal services in your area. Because as we understand, certain areas are being handled by certain town councils, for example, or certain teams from HDB or NEA or NParks. So this will help us to improve the service quality aspect of the government services. Okay. And for those of you who are drivers, if you want again, this is the same layout as the Parking SG app. Honestly, I'm still using the Parking SG app when I'm driving. But I think I will now use this using the OneService app from now. For now, you can select the car park. If it's at Woodlands, for example, they will indicate, oh, it's free for now, cannot be, right? Oh, I need to indicate my car or vehicle details. And then it will indicate the cost of it for parking. Very useful when you are parking in town area and you don't know how much it will cost, right? On top of that, you can also find out where you are able to park. In this case, you are able to see the cheapest parking option or the nearest one, and you can select the vehicle as well. So if you want to park at block 685, it will cost me about $1.18 to park. I presume that's for 1 hour. And it'd be 60 cents per half an hour. Okay, that's about it. I think we've promised Smart Nation that we will keep our sharing to 45 minutes.
So that is the end of our session. Thank you everyone for being such a great audience and also asking some of the questions. And we hope to see you in our next SNT session. So thank you everyone.